guys, Matt Lemke here with your gamer goggles, gamer-goggles.com. Today we have another figure forge for you. This is on the Sturnhammer Tank / APC kit. I'm going to show you how to bash it into all the kits. A friend of mine asked me to do that. Thought it'd be a good video, so I am here and we're going to break this down right now. So in order to do this, you're going to have the main base, which this front plow goes off. It can be attached separately if you want to attach it or not. You're going to need the sides, little side rails, the front. I like to call this the helmet, and the treads. Of course, the main hull, if I didn't already say that. And then you're going to take the back doors that go with the appropriate. Well, you're going to take the back door and set it aside, along with the top for all the turrets. And these two, okay, so there's two different kits, as you can see here. We'll zoom in on this. One is considerably larger. The larger one goes with the APC back and top. The smaller one goes with the turret back and top. And then we're going to take the pieces for the APC top, which actually goes like this. The back, its little machine gun turret. Its little cockpit there. And we have four 1/4 inch by 1/8 inch earth magnets, rare earth. And then of course we have all the different weapons platforms. And we'll assemble these pretty much the same time we're assembling the hull. But that's one kit. We have another kit here. The weapons are pretty simple. It's one thing I am very thankful for. Thank you, Mantic, for making these assemblies pretty simple. And then we have the last turret, which is those four pieces. Now, the basics. So I always think that it's easiest to start with the hull, and we're going to use, which I haven't even opened yet, if I brought it down, we're going to use Loctite gel today, which I'm a fan of the gels. I'm looking for a new one. If anybody has an idea, the super gel control that Loctite offers is pretty good. But I don't think you get as much for the money as you do some other super glues that are out there. So I am going to go ahead and take one of these, generously put some glue in there and in there. Notice they're a different shape. Those are the ones that go into the sides. The point is the front of the vehicle. You set it in there. I'm going to set it down. I'm going to do the other side real quick. I'm going to let that set a little bit. I'm going to just set this up here, laying the other parts on it for now. And then I'm going to grab the turret. And I'm going to go ahead and put some glue in these four holes. And since it's on the inside, I'm going to be pretty generous with it. I don't care if it runs out. It's not going to be seen. Is it that one? Oh yeah, we're good. We're good. I wanted to check something before I glued it together. Now this piece here is just going to go in here like this. You can glue that now if you want, or you can glue it later. I'm going to go ahead and glue it now. I'm just going to put a little bit there, some on the edge. And I'm only gluing in the center because as I push down it's going to spread and squeeze. And I don't want it to ooze out the sides. They did a good job of leaving a gap there that'll hide it if anything happens like that. And I'm just going to set it aside. And then I'm going to grab the next weapon, And again, I'm going to do the same thing. Well, I'll snap it together for you first. It just goes together like that. These two little pieces go in here. You can do them now or later if you want. Again, I'm going to be pretty generous with the glue. Well, I should have cleaned that up a little bit better. It never fails. This is what happens when you clean models while playing games at Origins. Because that's when I was cleaning this. I disconnected from the internet apparently. And I'll set that aside along with all its other little parts. Clean that little bit of a mess up. And then there's this guy. Okay, so this guy, I'm not going to glue yet. I just wanted to show you that it goes together just as easy as the other ones. But it's got this little knob here, right? And what happens is that knob goes on the inside here. And I don't know if my buddy wants that glued down or not. So in order to do this right, or in order not to ruin it for him maybe, and I'll show you what I mean here in a second. I'm going to set this down. It's a lot easier to do if you set it down. So if you don't glue it, it wobbles. And I don't know if my buddy wants that or not, so I'm just going to assemble this piece like this and set it aside unglued. And that is the complete, that would be the complete weapon. If it was mine, I would definitely glue this piece into place, put something in there, which that brings me to another point. On the tank itself, zoom out of here. On the tank itself. The next thing you do, okay, you can do it either way. You can put the sides on, and I kind of have to put the sides on in order to do the assembly video. At home, I suggest on these, hey kitty, that you paint what you can first, what can be seen, right? Hi. Yes, that's a kitty cat. Hey, I need you to go. All right. I'll catch you later. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and glue these on next. And I'm going to go ahead and put the glue in there pretty generously again. Again, at home, I suggest that you... Katie, you're going to get glued. I suggest that you paint these first if you want that much detail, attention to detail. Super glue is going to make you high, kitty. And then I'm going to just set this aside. But what I wanted to point out is it's not a bad idea. So like, okay, so this piece here goes into that little hole, right? It's not a bad idea to put two supports in right here and here that rest in almost in those two corners. I'm going to go ahead and glue this part right now because I can. Yeah, that was probably overkill, but I'm not too worried about the overkill on this. There's that. Boom. And now before I put these two pieces in here, well, one, I'm going to clean that up a little bit better. Yeah, I'm just using a pocket knife. The other thing you can do, hey, where'd it go? This is just a piece of a drywall screen. It works wonders. You have a lot more control when you do something like sandpaper. Now you can take it down to a round file. Now, and if you're worried about the scratched edges, that's just texture. Texture that makes it look like it's been through some combat. And these are going to go here, basically. And this one's going to go here. And I'm going to clean that one up just a little bit more. Feel a little bit there. And no, my knife's not actually that sharp. It's about angle and hitting it on the right angle. So I'm going to set that aside, and I'm going to go back to the weapons. Now, we already glued this, and this is glued down. And now you're going to glue these on. So it's important to note, well, I suppose you could do it that way if you wanted. But it's important to note that this little knob here, we'll zoom in again. This lip actually goes on the bottom, and it makes a pretty good fit. And it goes on this side because these go together. Now you can actually, if you wanted, you can do it all at once, glue those in there first, and then glue them onto the bottom, which is what I'm going to do. Just a little bit of glue in there, and a little bit of glue in there. Slide that bad boy in there. Now this is a finished part, so you don't want to use too much glue. And the same thing here. I'm just going to put a dollop there, and a dollop there, dollop there, and maybe just a hair on the lip here. Kind of like spot welding. And then I'm going to set that off to the side. I'm going to grab the other weapons. Well, the other ones are done. I'm going to go ahead and put some glue here. And I'm going to put those in there. Now notice, I should have pointed it out before. Let's see, can you still see it? See how they're not complete circles? That's not a complete circle either. It does matter which side they go in. That's almost a done model. I could go ahead and probably do these right now. Yep. Now these go on the sides here like this. One of the reasons why I like gel is because it's a little bit thicker. I don't necessarily think it bonds or dries faster, but it's clingy. So you can let go and move on to other parts of your model faster. There you go. In about 5 minutes it'll be dry enough for me to play around with. And like I said, this guy I'm not going to do anything else with because of that. Bring the tank back on, or the hull I should say. Now these guys here, I suppose if you want you could leave them off. They kind of snap in there pretty good. They're pretty firm. Gluing them won't be that much of a bear. I actually like the idea of them being able to pop off. They just kind of snap in there. I like that. Why do I like the idea of them being able to snap off? Let's zoom out a little bit. You know, I just like the different effects you can do with, oh, you shot him, he's wounded. I can pop it off. I can leave it on the field. Or maybe some other time I want to come back and I want to do something different with it. It certainly makes it a lot easier to paint if you don't glue them. I don't know who's going to paint these for my friend, so I am not actually going to glue these. And we can move on to the next couple of parts. Okay, so the front. I'm not going the front yet, but I wanted to show you. It goes here like this, right? Now there's two little pieces that took me almost 15 or 20 minutes to figure out what they're for. And they look very much like this here, and they actually go on the sides. So I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit of glue here on this one. And then a little bit there. And I'm going to go ahead and glue that on there. I want it to be straight. Now I'm actually going to have to come back and scrape a little bit of the super glue gel off. But I think the super glue gel comes off a little bit better than regular super glue. Plus it paints better in my opinion. There, that's that side. I'm just going to set that aside, let that dry so I don't break it. I'm going to do the other side. So now you have the turret section, which goes here like this. Right? That's all you need to do, basically. What's important to note about these two pieces is that, okay, so this is going to, see, this goes in here like this, right? They go on the back, and there's a gap between the door and the side wall of the tank. Now at home, I'm noticing a couple things that you're going to want to do. You're going to want to put a little bit of glue up front when you glue in the side piece right there. I did not do that. And I'm going to do that right now with a knife. Before I forget. Yes, that was my rendition of some kind of song. Okay, now watch the mess. Actually, before I do that, I'm going to grab a little piece of paper. Smudge it in there a little bit. Now it's going to squeeze out, right? You can take something like a piece of foam from a model and just wipe that right out of there. It's got a nice square corner. That should do the trick. At home, if you're not rushing it like I do during my figure forges, you can take a rubber band and put them together. Now this piece here, you're gonna, if you want that gap filled, you're gonna have to epoxy that because that does not come, at least not on this piece, not on this model kit that I have. That does not come any closer together. But again, when you put this on, it's going to be hidden if you decide to put this on. I honestly, if it was mine, I'm not sure I would put it on. I think I like that better. It looks more dwarven to me, but I'm a nut, so, you know. And I'm going to go ahead and do that on this side again. This side's got a little bit more play in it. And again, when you squeeze it, just take something with a square corner and wipe it free. Do I have a rubber band? I do have a rubber band here. Look at that. Not the big rubber bands that I kind of want for this, but is it working? It's holding. That's all I care about. So you can do that. You know, if you got a big squeeze clamp, that'll work as well. So back to the back. All right. So the important part, really kind of wish I wouldn't have done that now, is the side pieces. These side pieces are designed to be glued in here, and as you notice, the lines match. But I'm not gluing them in there. Because if you do this instead, oops, do it the right way, the two on the bottom, I'm going to sand that off. It's not visible to anything, but if you do this, you can glue it to the back wall here, if you're careful. And then you can set it aside, let it dry. And then you'll have a replaceable back door. So I'm going to do this side first. Maybe. And I suppose if you wanted, you could sticky tack these in for now. But since it's a figure forge, I'm going to keep moving. And I'm just going to gently push it up. Until it sets. I'm going to hold it. It is not quite a perfect fit. I should have modeled it down a little bit. I'll make the other ones a more perfect fit. Uh-oh. Now while we're doing that, I'll let that set a little bit, and I'll grab the other side to this. And I'll show you what I did. Okay, let's see. Let's see. Is this going to even work this way? No, it's not going to work without the rest. But this is the other. This is the APC side, and basically this sits here like this, and this will go here like that. Okay. And you'll have to do the same thing on the back. Let's see here. Two go down, I believe. And this goes... Oh, this one's actually going to be easier to do. I can do this one on this side. I can just glue these in here. Like this. They actually slide in. So I'm going to go ahead and glue those now. Let them set. Set that off to the side. Let's see if this is ready to... Can I pull this off here yet? Okay, I can pull that off. Now you got to be gentle with this still for at least 24 hours is the full cure. Now you can see on the back side here that actually I'm going to take this one off because that bothered me. And then I'm going to put... I can see where the glue is, so I'm just going to put a little bit more glue there. Put this back on here. Shoot. I'm going to line the... Let's see if I destroyed it for my buddy. I didn't destroy it. Actually, it fits better on that side now. This side's not quite better. Take it off. Alright. There. Test it again. There you go. I'm going to take that off, set that piece aside, and show you the top. Okay, so that's how the top looks different. Now, what I did is I took, that's the back, silly me. I looked at this and I'm like, man, if I glue that on there and then I have this top on here, that's going to look really weird when you, I mean, you could get away with that, right? Now, there's only one other thing I want to figure out. Well, actually, you can't get away with that because this piece sits there. So you either take that piece off or you make it magnetized. But I came up with a different solution, and I think it's a better solution. I mean, this is perfectly okay. You can get it to rotate. I do not know. I haven't figured this part out yet. I want to put something like, here, I'm just going to use a highlighter to kind of show you. Something in there like that has like a washer. I might put have my friend put a thread through the bottom with a nut, and then you could put that on there, and then you'll have your guns so they rotate a little bit more, if that's what you want to do, and helps if you're putting this on right, Matt. And then, I mean, there's nothing wrong with this. I mean, unless you want it to spin, it'll fall off a little bit. You can just use some sticky tack every time you play, whatever. Unless, of course, you know, it's here. It's much less likely to fall off. But this weapon, at least, is a little heavy in the front. This one is also, you can see the wobble. So you're going to want to do something on the inside, but you're not going to have to worry too much about that because the way I've made it, it's going to, this piece is popping in and out. Now notice there's a little bit of a push and pull there. That part of that is because there's no glue points here, which I kind of think if you're going to take it apart, you want that flexibility, right? But anyway, back to this. So what I did is I cut on the bottom these for the magnets, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue the magnets in the bottom. And I'm going to let that set so that I don't have them, you know, shooting at each other. And I might let that set for a good bit. Now, what I have found, I probably should have done this all first. Shoot. See, that's what I didn't want it to do. Well, they're all going the same way, which is what I really want in the end. I want them all to be the same. So I want to be able to slide that off once it's dry. But what I found is, I can't even show you now. What I found is that this piece doesn't line up perfectly like that when you don't have, well, when you only have that piece in there. Now with the magnet, it's something like this. There's a little bit of a step down. With the magnets in there, it's a lot more accurate. And then this piece is going to get glued on here, like that. And while those magnets are drying, I'm going to go ahead and put a little drop of glue in there for the machine gun. Well, that's not what I wanted to do. Oh, frack. And I'm going to have to hold that there until it dries. But now, while I'm holding it there, let's see how talented I am. I can show you, well, pop the lid off, and then set these so they're right. Let that set that way for a minute or two. There we go. Because it's going to want to dry that way. There is going to be a little bit of gap filling on the one side. I can set that off to the side now. And should be a fit. Put this piece on top. That's a lot easier, in my opinion, than putting together a lot of other vehicles I've had to put together in my time. So now, we can do this. My only concern is how strong will they be? That goes there, that goes there. So now I'm going to put a little drop of glue here. A little drop of glue here. I don't want to put too much glue on it because if I do, I'm going to glue the magnets together and then I got a real problem, right? I'm going to do that. I'm going to let that dry and I want, oh, I didn't think of that problem. Anyway, I'm going to just put it down there like that for now, I guess. There was a problem that I didn't think of and I just thought of, and that's by putting the magnets on there, when I was playing with it, it was like that. Which I think is where I actually want it. Hold on, let me double check. No, I want it here. I do want it there. If my friend wants to, if Skip wants to do something to fill that gap, you could put some putty on the outside of that or whatever. I'll have to talk to him about how to fix that problem. But since it's going to go back and forth, I'm not going to worry too much about it. The only other thing I'm a little bit worried about is this piece right here. Since I'm only gluing it there, I just got glue on my fingers. And nowhere else. Is whether or not when the magnet's set, whether or not I'm going to eventually break that piece off. But there you go. Oops, I probably shouldn't have converted that yet. Yep. Need to let that dry a little bit longer. But anyway, you get the idea. We'll zoom out here. Few minutes, I'll come back and film some more swapping in and out. While that's setting up a little bit more, actually, I can glue this other piece on. What the heck? That's just my daughter dying. And again, on the front, you can choose to magnetize these if you want, or whatever. Okay, so get these pieces out of here. Apparently, I'm going to have to try this again. Alright. I'm just going to let that glue dry. And I kind of fudged that a little bit because it's not sitting quite the way I want it to. So after 10 minutes of drying, this is, well, let me show you what it looks like first. That's what it looks like from, I guess, about eye level of a model on the table. It took about 10 minutes for it to dry long enough that I can pull the magnets off. Oh, I did want to show you something else. Okay, so if you go with this, only one back when you try and glue it. When you go to put the other piece on, you're going to find that it's not going to fit right because this one's taller. That's why they have the different side pieces, really. One door is actually larger than the other. That's the big thing. So now we can take a look at it. Okay, so like I said, I wasn't going to glue the front on. I don't know if he wants it on. I would not. I don't really see a need for it. Tank 1, like I said, it's a little heavy. But on the bottom, you could just glue some washers or something here. It'll be an easy fix on this one at least. It's just a little bit of counterbalance. A couple of small washers, some leftover pewter from some models. Same thing. This one is actually the one that fits the best. It does that. Oh, you know, will it? Yeah, if you use the right size washers, you'll be fine. Just super glue them on. Same thing here. It's not that heavy. What you can also do, which I didn't do, is you can, before you glue them together, which I could probably bust it apart if I really wanted, you can glue the weight on the inside. A little bit of epoxy on the back side, all the way along the rim. Just about anything else you want to do, really. But there you go. That is the magnetized version of the Sturnhammer, so that you can swap out all the weapons, turrets, things of that nature, and play one tank as 3. Thanks for watching, guys, and I hope you enjoyed the video.